In a recent Discord lobby chat, Glava, one of the primary developers of Little Wargame amongst others, was asked a seemingly innocuous question. Given that you don't have unlimited funds with which to hire more development, and given that you don't have unlimited time with which to pursue your interest in Little Wargame, what is the future of development for Little Wargame? What is going to be the priority? What is the focus of the time that is available? To this very, very drawn out and complicated question, Glava had the simple answer of new players. Just those two words, new players. But what does it mean to focus on new players? One problem, as it's seen, is as follows. There's no difficulty in attracting people to play Little Wargame, but finding out what it is that makes them stay has proven more difficult. Yet after experiences such as the one I'm about to outline, it seems the problem is that new players just don't know enough to play, let alone play enough to stay. It has been the experience of myself and other people that we have friends and family that we reach out to because we are passionate about Little Wargame. We believe in Little Wargame. We enjoy real-time strategy games. We either grew up with Little Wargame or we grew up with the genre. We take many of its conventions for granted, and we want to share that love that we have for what Little Wargame is, represents, and means to us to these other people who mean a lot to us. And it has been common enough to show those people the existing tutorials. And this is not to impugn the skill or the capacity or the intelligence of any of those players who try it, but some of them, it has been inarguably the case. I have heard from credible sources and seen myself some of those new players who want to play real-time strategy games, who see exactly what we're talking about, fail to defeat the first tutorials as they're offered. And even if they are capable of beating the tutorials, they're not even equipped to play the mods that are more common and more easily accessible, let alone reflex-based mods, let alone the incredibly demanding scale of melee Little Wargame. And of those ranked plays and high-level players, they may as well be on a different planet to those who are trying to play the game for the first time. Adults, children, young adults, experienced gamers, and people who merely wish to share what invigorates us, and they are finding themselves unable to do it. And so after reaching out to these people, and after having those same experiences with Glava and the other developers and moderators, and even sharing them and finding them common enough against and amongst the player base, it seems that the solution is to change tutorials, is to change the means of giving people the tools that they need in order to access the very little bit that they can so that they grow to appreciate and understand what Little Wargame is, what it represents, what it's capable of providing them, what it provides us. But currently, those people don't have those tools. Currently, we are pointing at a giant mining shaft and saying, go down there for there are diamonds. Go down there for there are the riches that we believe exist and we know that exist, for we have been in there and we have found through toil that this is what exists. And yet we're not giving these people a mining pick. We're not giving them instructions. We're not giving them any safety or understanding as to what they're doing. So they join Little Wargame and we have no problems finding them. And they feel that they get swallowed up and soon enough they're gone. They can't be bothered to stay. It's too much. And so, after reaching out to all of these people, I and other people involved in development and moderation, after collating the experiences of my own friends and family, of the friends and family of others, of hearing about problems inside of Little Wargame, and amongst the real-time strategy genre as a whole, I have to come up with a new way of attempting to integrate those tutorials in a way that is an improvement on the real-time strategy formula and an improvement to the people who want to play Little Wargame. It is an improvement that, with help and with coaching and with testing, may very well be involved in Little Wargame itself. And so this video is not going to highlight mods so much as it is going to explain what they are and ask for your help. Currently, the mods that are going to be represented as tutorials or may become tutorials are macro challenges. Macro Challenge 1, Macro Challenge 2, Macro Challenge 3, and Macro Challenge 4 pit a single player against a computer opponent. On the left-hand side of all 4 of these similar-seeming maps, the player has access to workers and castles. The workers cannot build buildings, for every building the player needs is already present. The castles cannot construct more workers, for every worker that the individual may need is already present. Over off to the right-hand side, a series of 3 or 4 buildings that can construct only specified army units. The player can build from them, and when they do build from them, the units spawn, and after a certain amount of time, they move in waves over to the right-hand side to defeat the computer-controlled enemies and the computer-controlled house, which will trigger the end of the mission. The player cannot control these units that they have made, just as they cannot build buildings with the workers, nor can they construct additional units with their castles, nor are there any other upgrades they can handle. The full point of the challenge is to be beaten in something between 2 to 5 minutes, depending on the player's skill and the macro challenge in question, by testing only that the player know how, at a degree of under 15 actions per minute, that they know how to create units out of the primary structures that are on the right-hand side. The goal is to simplify the learning and thus to make sure that these people have access to one of the primary skills, one of the more difficult skills to entrench inside of new players, which is the concept of macro, that your money means nothing unless you spend it. And as I said, all 4 of these maps, you total their time together. If you are completely experienced in Little Wargame, you may not find it a challenge to beat all of them inside of perhaps 5 to 8 minutes. But I implore you, test them first, yes, with your own skill. Test macro challenge maps 1 through 4 with your own skill. See if you can get the gold, silver, or bronze rating for time that is detailed for each one of them. See if there is any way that the mod can be broken. See if there is any inaccuracy, anything that can be trained or taught or learned, or there are units attacking that should not be attacking, anything that you can find to break it with your know-how of Little Wargame. But what I am asking of you is more than for you to play the macro challenge maps yourself. For you, as I am, as the developers are, as the moderators, and everyone who cares about Little Wargame to this extent that they have followed or they enjoy the content on this channel can attest, we are not the primary audience. For as good and well as it is to make sure that these are polished and that they execute on the most fundamental level, that you can find them beatable and you see no bugs, errors, or things that cause consternation for you, the experienced player, the primary goal of these macro challenges is to appeal and be of use to newer players. So please, find your family, find siblings, find friends, all the people in your life that know that Little Wargame means something to you, that see you in the lobby, a lifestyle gamer for Little Wargame, that see that you love real-time strategy games. Try and see if you can't get them involved. It's intended to be for people who are under about 10 or 15 actions per minute. Not that they can get gold. That is a challenge reserved for you and reserved for those who rise to such challenges. But for them to understand on the most fundamental level what is asked of them of these challenges. And the goal is that they are short. For a complete novice, someone brand new to Little Wargame, it may not take them 20 minutes. That's more than double the time it may take you, but that is perfectly fine. See if they enjoy the challenge or not. See if something is intuitive to them or not. See where they stumble, and instead of offering assistance, remark on it quietly. Put it in a YouTube comment. PM me on the Discord at ItanoCircus. PM me in-game. Find me. Find members of the community. Respond to the comments. Whatever you have to do, just watch what they do, see where they fall short, and then see what can be done to improve after that. Because there will be, if these become the tutorials, and then a series gets made of economic challenges, and those are made the tutorials, and a similar series is made where all the player does is control units, and they don't build or make any economy, the unit challenges, if those become the tutorials, they won't have to be alive for you and me. The tutorials never were alive for those of us who have gotten to a certain level of skill in Little Wargame. who may come from a background of skill inside of real-time strategy games, but you have to understand that most people don't share that background. Many people that I know who are quite proficient gamers in other respects want to enter the real-time strategy genre. They are primed to find Little War Game, a simplified but not simple little war game. Just that, a real-time strategy game that is little for them to play. They are primed to want it, and I've heard so many times that they can't. They don't know where to start. It's too much to get into. It's too much to overcome. It's not even a question of being good. It's not even a question of being competent. It's a question of avoiding hopeless incompetence and just not even understanding what there is to perceive and appreciate about the genre. So please, yes, test macro challenge maps 1 through 4, and then find new people. Find out what they do with these maps, because these may become the tutorials, and frankly, I need more help to find out what other people outside of my brain, outside of your brains as the players, as the people who are familiar with this, you need, if you can't put yourself in the mind of a beginner, find beginners and make them try these maps just for a few minutes. See how they respond. Do they understand? Is there something that's clicking with them? Because this may be what is in the very, very near future of Little War Game. And it would be a terribly wasted opportunity if it was included and effort was spent to develop any feature that assisted with this, and it once again, as the existing tutorials do, missed the mark on the audience that needed it most.